Hey, this is a shorter video, so I think this one probably is gonna because of the it's not gonna be as long. It's probably gonna be uploaded faster than the other video, but the memory on my phone cut short on my previous video. I did say in that video pretty much almost everything of what I wanted to say in that video. I probably would have went on maybe for another 45 seconds or a minute or something just to end the video. So when you see the other one uploaded, you see that it was cut short. You didn't miss much at all. But anyways, also while I was doing that video, I thought about mentioning this in the other video, but I figured I'll just do I'll do it in another video. So this is what I want to talk about in this video. And sorry if I'm rambling. Anyways, so what I want to talk about here is but the subject of hard preaching, and I want to point out that the first time I ever heard so-called hard preaching, back when I was unsaved, I loved it. And I also want to point out that because somehow back in 2016, I was looking at gardening videos, and somehow out of nowhere, I stumbled upon Steven Anderson when I was on the internet, on YouTube, looking at trying to find stuff about gardening. I mean, I don't know how that's so bizarre, but But anyways, when I saw some of Steven Anderson's compilations and stuff people made of him, where he was just basically insulting people, saying some outrageous things and screaming and jumping up on the pulpit and stuff and berating some of his congregation and just yelling about the sodomites and Bruce Jenner and stuff and some other people. I looked at that again. At the time I was unsaved, and I thought, man, that guy, a lot of the things he said, I just happened to agree with, and at the time, I never really seen preaching before. Like I said in my previous video, I didn't have a churchy background or anything like that. I wasn't around the Bible pretty much at all growing up. But the preachers that I seen on television were either those, so-called holy roller, fraudsters, or, the moronic, snake handlers, trying to not, kind of Pentecostal weirdos trying to handle snakes and drink whiskey and, bark like a dog or whatever. Or, I would see some pastor that honestly would, I guess the media would maybe just depict them kind of like a sissy, or just too soft and just seemed not real. I don't really like, trying to act meek without probably, not truly being meek, but just kind of acting. And came off kind of as a sissy instead of humble. Anyways, basically my few interactions / views of preachers, and then all of a sudden I see the Steven Anderson guy, right? And it kind of was like a circus. And, but it was very entertaining. And, I thought to myself, and I remember thinking, okay, and back, again, I was unsaved at the time, but I remember thinking, wow, this guy is not a Muslim, but he's invoking God while he's insulting people and berating them. And I thought, man, I think I want to be a Christian. and I was dead serious. Okay, I'm like, I'm kind of laughing about it now, but that, like that was kind of my view. And I watched a bunch of Steven Anderson stuff after that, and it actually took me a while to find, because I was just clicking on random stuff, like hearing him rant and stuff. Eventually I did see like Eternal Security videos. That I think that was like a couple months later or something, though. But my point here is that, because Steven Anderson's like big on so-called hard preaching. He's just like ripping on sin. Is that, if somebody can watch your videos and and not get saved by them, and conclude that, I want to kind of be, like you so I can rip on people. And, and you're a past, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And, Steven Anderson, he's famous for being a jerk. Like that's what he's known for. He's not, he's not primarily known for preaching about grace. Okay. He's known in other countries and by the media and probably even by, the US government at this point, just for like being a jerk and calling for the death of certain people. And so the and some other preachers are they're like more toned down than him, but many other preachers aren't known for grace either. Okay, they're known for, a lot of other preachers are known for being manipulative and condescending and um, you know coming off as self-righteous. And even a lot of Baptists, like come off as self-righteous and kind of mean. And a lot of them, like, look, if you were just watch their sermons at random, okay, you would probably conclude that they're expecting you to get, sin out of your life and that you need to get right. And, basically start living better. And again, I was just some guy that, stumbled upon, but how many other people stumble upon people like Steven Anderson, and come to this conclusion that Jesus is a hard taskmaster, and they think that he's like a jerk because Steven Anderson, who's supposed to be an ambassador for Christ, and a bunch of other Baptists and stuff who are supposed to be ambassadors for Christ, come off as like Pharisees. It's just food for thought. And I'll also say this, and again, just clicking them at random, I think I must have heard at least 20 Steven Anderson sermons before I found one where he was like talking about like eternal security and preaching the gospel and stuff. Like a lot of it, like those other ones, it was just him ripping on some sin, ripping on the sodomites, making fun of some people because of like their stance on like, baking cakes for gay weddings or something. And, him ripping on alcohol and smoking and him feuding with some other guy. So many other Baptist churches, unfortunately, they're toned down versions of that, but it's basically very little grace and start getting the sin out of your life or you're not right with God. So it's a term I like to call grace shipper, where, the pastors may be saved, but all they're doing is preaching works, and almost making you forget about that the God's a God of grace, and they paint him, paint Jesus to be like a hard taskmaster. Anyways, I'm going to see if I go to bed. I'm going to probably wake up in less than 2 hours anyways. But, because I have to tend to my animals and stuff. But no, maybe I can do like a little power nap or something. Good night.